Lesson 1. The first thing we're going to learn about is the layout of the keys and the musical alphabet. So if you look at all of the keys on the keyboard or the piano, you'll see that there are groups of 2 black notes and groups of 3 black notes. And then there's a whole row of white keys. The white keys are all named. They're all named either A, B, C, D, E, F or G. And then that pattern repeats, A, B, C, D, etc. So how do we know which of these white notes is which? Well, it's easy on this keyboard because you've got the stickers. I don't recommend that you use stickers. I've just got the stickers on here just to help you to orientate yourself when you're looking at the video. But what you need to look at really is the black keys. And you'll see that they're arranged in groups of 3, as I mentioned, and in groups of 2. So in order to get you to look really carefully at these, what I want you to do is get with your right hand, I want you to, with these middle 3 fingers, I want you to go and play all of the groups of 3 black notes on your keys, as I'm doing now. You might not be able to see this one. On a full-size keyboard, there's about 6 or 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of 3. Then take your left hand and use these 2 fingers and play all of the groups of 2 black notes. All the way up. Once you've spotted that you've got these groups of 2 and these groups of 3, you can find the most important note on the keyboard. The most important note on any piano or keyboard, or in fact in the whole of music, the most important note I think is the note C. If you look at any group of 2 black notes, 2 black keys here, the white note just on the left is the note C. If you look at these 2, that's a C. That's a C. You'll notice that the ones that are further to the left sound lower, and as you go further to the right, they sound higher in pitch. So obviously, for every letter name, you have a number of notes that share that letter name. Just to get you nicely oriented, have a look and see if you can play every single C on the piano. So look for 2 black notes. I'll show you first. And then see how quickly you can play these notes as a G. So if C is here, D, E, F, there's a G. G is in the middle of the 2 left-hand pair, the left-hand pair of the 3 black notes, and in the middle is a G, and you'll find that is there. Or you can work it out by working it from C, D, E, F, G. Now try to play a C, there it is, and a B, and an F. An F's an easy one to remember because if you look at 3 black notes, it's just to the left. A D is just in between 2 black notes, and an E is just to the right of 2 black notes. You don't need to try to remember these though. You will gradually learn them as you play more and more music throughout the course. So when you are playing the piano or the keyboard, you need to make sure that you don't keep your fingers too straight. A lot of beginners will be a bit like this. You want to make sure that your fingers curve round in about that sort of shape, so that your thumb can easily reach the keys as well. And your fingers are pivoting mostly from these joints, these knuckles. If you have to play a black note, which you will do later in the course, you might stretch your fingers out a little bit more, or you might just move them up. But most importantly, don't play with straight fingers. In each hand, you've got 5 fingers, or a thumb and 5 fingers. And you'll find that in piano music, some notes have a little number above them, and it is telling you which of your fingers to play that note with. So if it's a left-hand note, this is finger number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the right hand starts with the thumb again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got some exercises for you now. Try and find middle C on your piano There's a note at the end of the course which will tell you how to find middle C. Basically, it is the C that is nearest to the middle of the keyboard. It's not exactly in the middle of the keyboard. If you put your right hand on the keys with your fingers nicely rounded and try and play 5 notes in a row using all your 5 fingers. I'll demonstrate. This seems very easy, but the challenge is to keep your hand in the right position and to play the notes all at an even volume and an even speed. So we don't want anything like this. Don't let your hand get tense or move into weird positions. Then do the same with the left hand. If you're right-handed, this might be a little bit more difficult. And once you've got that, then you could practice for several days in a row just doing this. So that's going all the way up to your finger 5 and then all the way back down. So that's the same with the left hand as well. Then try doing it with both hands together. When you're doing this, you're sort of exercising lots of little muscles that are in your finger that you didn't even know you had. You hardly use them. You're just getting control and coordination of the muscles that you move your fingers. And you can do it with both hands. Do it lots of times. Always remember to keep your fingers nicely curved as you play. Next, we'll look at some musical notation. In music, notes are written on a set of 5 lines, and these 5 lines are called a stave. Each stave has a symbol at the start, and this stave shows you which hand should play. Well, as a side note, that's actually not 100% accurate, but for the moment, all you need to know is that if there is a treble clef at the start of the stave, it means you should be playing with your right hand. And if there is a bass clef at the start of the stave, you should be playing with your left hand. The notes are written on the lines or in the spaces on the staves. So you can see here, we've got notes that are written on the bottom line, the second line up, the third line up, the fourth line up, or the top line, or in any of the spaces. A note is shown on the page by a circle, and that's called the note head. If the symbol at the start of the stave is a treble clef, it means play with the right hand. And if the start of the stave shows a bass clef, as you can see it here, that means you should be playing those notes with the left hand. So the bass clef is basically used for all of the notes on this side of the keyboard, and the treble clef is used for the notes on this side of the keyboard. Music is divided into bars, or in America it's called measures, by bar lines. And there is a line at the end of each bar, as you can see here. Next to each of the clefs, you'll see 2 numbers. In this case, you can see the numbers 4, 4. These numbers are called the time signature, and the top number is the only one you need to worry about at the moment. The number 4 is telling you that there are 4 beats in every bar. We'll learn what the bottom number means in a later lesson. So music has a beat, and the way that each note is written tells you how many beats that note should be held for. A semibreve or whole note is written just as a circle, and that should be held for 4 beats. So if I was to play an E, which was a semibreve or a whole note, I would count this. 4 beats. A minim or half note, which is a circle and it has a stem attached to it, that's 2 beats long, like this. And a crotchet or quarter note, which is a circle that's coloured in and it has a stem, is 1 beat. Obviously, a beat can be faster or it can be slower. So you might find that a semi-breve was as long as this. Or if the beat was faster, it could be a 4-beat note, could be this long. So it isn't an absolute value, it's a relative value, relative to the speed or tempo of the music. But don't worry too much about the details of that at the moment. You'll learn how to count note lengths as you play.